Hello there. They call me Mr. E. Now, if you're like me, you've probably wondered to yourself, what are conservatives good for? Not to be mistaken with preservatives, like sugar, which have a very important function, conservatives, as the name suggests, are associated with the idea of conserving, maintaining the status quo and keeping society on the straight and narrow. But is it really important in the world today? Aren't cultures and the human race supposed to be forever changing, advancing, evolving rapidly towards the next best thing? If you look at it like this, then quite simply, conservatives are useless. They are just a roadblock to change. But it's not that simple, and it's definitely not how conservatism originated. Let's explore that idea then, shall we?
My name is Mystery. For reasons unknown, I have been thrown back into the past almost 100 years, and this is my story.
Conservatives have their roots going back to before the age of revolutions, in a time where Enlightenment thinking was kicking off and people were starting to question the right of kings and queens to rule over society. Conservatives, like all Enlightenment thinkers, believed that monarchies should be changed, but not too much. They didn't want to rock the boat and overturn social stratification. They still wanted there to be a distinction between upper and lower classes. They just didn't want power to be concentrated in the hands of one king or a group, spreading it more across society's upper layers. These conservatives, though, were in favour of more freedom and equality for white male property owners only, but would have objected to the American and French revolutions as they had the potential to put too much power into the hands of the lower classes. It is the French Revolution where you get the notions of left and right in politics. When the National Assembly gathered to decide how to deal with the French king, those who looked for radical social change stood on the left of the court, and those who wanted a more conservative approach stood on the right. Voila. Note here, both sides didn't want to remove the king. Left and right sought a constitutional monarchy, one that has a king as a figurehead of the nation, with the laws of the country sorted by the parliament. Traditional conservatives are for free societies based on liberal values, just not radical change. Conservatives looked for organic, slow-paced change that happens over generations, improving on traditional values and customs, as opposed to just wiping them out. They fought to remove things like overpowerful states or churches, and were against the idea of slavery. These are things that we can all relate to. None of us want an authoritarian government telling us how to live. Same with a religious authority, and we definitely think slavery is not okay. But the world changed with the Industrial Revolution and the advent of capitalism. The progressive part of the ruling classes were now looking at how to concentrate business power and for freedom of the market. For a short period of time, conservatism became the reaction to industrial progress and the rise of capitalist rule. It was the lower classes and the liberal thinkers that were all of a sudden conservative, appalled by and opposed to capitalist progress. But this would flip again, and rapidly. As the capitalists became the unquestionable leaders of the world, leaving kings and nobility behind, they needed to conserve their power and wealth accumulation, and needed a way to protect it. And so, at this point, to be left or progressive was now again with the working class and these old liberal ideas against the world capitalist order. Progressive thinking, looking for freedom and equality and working class autonomy, was no longer a conservative notion. It was again progressive. Now, to avoid confusion here, because it really is, I'm going to call this new business or capitalist ruling class type of conservatism neoconservatism. Neoconservatism, the conservatives of today, are those who believe in hardcore state control and government. People who use state force to instill control over society and repress dissent in the name of traditional values. They look to increase state intervention in the economy to support business and special interest groups. They protect the state from public surveillance and scrutiny. Think the CIA or anti-terror laws giving government extraordinary power and the ability to work in the shadows. And they destroy civil liberties that get in the way of state power. Think the right to assemble and associate with whom you choose. Today's conservatives love to stop people from organising, whether that is protesting or unionising. Neoconservatives maintain their power by highlighting threats, real and imagined, home and abroad, to the stability of the nation. They create a state of paranoia, depicting their nation as being besieged by enemies from within and from the outside. From within, it used to be about women entering the workforce and taking men's jobs. Now it's migrants who do this. The enemy from the outside used to be communists and Islamic terrorists, and now it's China who's coming to destroy your freedom. The conservatives of today aren't like their predecessors. They don't apply a conserved approach to social change, acting as a legitimate check on progressive ideas out there. Conservatives is a term that was stolen to now be any form of ideology that maintains power to the ruling elites. It tricks gullible people into supporting and conforming to state power and aggression through a warped sense of virtue politics, weaponizing traditional values like religion or patriotism to stir up xenophobic and moralistic rage in a country's citizenry. This is why it appears backwards and regressive to some, because it preaches morals while conjuring hate. In this cruel world, neoconservatives know exactly how to mobilize a population's anger. The paradox is they help to create the problem that plagues the modern world and then harness the emotion of those problems to ensure the masses of people attack each other, never the ruling classes. It's quite clever, actually. Conservatism, in the modern sense, is just a tactic to concentrate power by taking advantage of desperate people. If only we could have real conservatives back, we might have something that more resembles functioning governments in the world today. But I am not going to hold my breath. Now, if you thought this was interesting, please give it a like and a share. And please, subscribe for more. There is much to learn before we can unlock the revolution. Remember, I am, you are, we are a mystery.